Hello, hello, hello! Chuck Espinoza here, and today we are going to go over basic equalization of a sound system. So basic equalization of a sound system. Now, there's a couple things you're going to need to do before you equalize your sound system. Number one, you want to make sure all your inputs are set up. You want to make sure you have a basic gain stage on all your microphones, that your gain staging is good for all your program material, all your computers, video teleconferencing, any electronics that are going in. Everything's nice and coming out of the mixer at 0 dBu, etc., etc. You want to make sure that downstream everything's getting to your loudspeakers, to your amplifier, to your loudspeakers at 0 dBu. Now, the amplifier lives in this loudspeaker, so that's why I gave him a little pat on the head. I want to make sure I got 0 dBu going into my amplifier. That's me, just optimization guy. Or, excuse me, unity gain guy. Optimization, whatever you want going in there, plus 10, hey, sky's the limit. So, once we have our sound system set up, we have our gain stage set up, we have our downstream equipment out of the mixer, if you have crossovers, whatever, anything, and then going into the amp 0 dBu, anything in between, going in 0 dBu, out 0 dBu. So now what we're going to do is apply some filters. Now, I don't have a big rack of equipment here. Like most of us now, I have a digital signal processor, a DSP. I'm using this mixer here, which is completely GUI based. There's no faders, there's no pots on it. You might have a mixer with faders and pots. It goes out to an EQ with sliders on it. Cool. I have a mixer here that, as you can see, and I'll drop some screenshot in here. Here is my mixer. Here's the gain stage for my mixer up there, just a little button. Boop. Here is the master section for my mixer. And over here, if I go down to the master, you can see I have some dynamic processing there. And here is my EQ for that master section. This would be the equivalent of going out of a regular analog mixer into an equalizer, out of that equalizer into your amplifier or a crossover or whatever downstream equipment you have. So everything's going to be taking place in this little box. Then it goes to that little box, makes some powers the signal a bit, comes out of the loudspeaker, bing, bang, boom, we have some audio. So let's go and talk about a couple things we need to do, not just our gain staging, but setting the amplifier for the required power that we need for the room. Now, if you watch an EPR video, you know how to do that. You know how to get the amplifier, figure out how much power you need for the loudspeakers to sound a certain way in the room. So what we're going to do is make sure we have that 25 to 30 dB above ambient first. So I've got my noise generator up here. I'm going to run it into a channel. Once I run it into a channel, I'm going to get it up to 0 dBu. I've got my multimeter here hooked into one of the outputs. Make sure I have 0 dB going out. Going into that, I've got my DSP, one channel going into the loudspeaker and amplifier, one channel going into my multimeter, so I can make sure I have 0 dBu coming out. I'm going to adjust the amplifier until I get that 25 to 30 dB above ambient. Wait, I need an ambient measurement. So let me get my handy dandy SPL meter, turn on the SPL meter, and let's get an ambient noise measurement. I want to see what's going on in this room. Now remember, we have to let the sound die, so it's going to take a minute. So let's see what we have here. I want to go A-weighted and slow, so I'm on, show everybody here. I'm on A-weighted, as you can see. My range is anywhere between 20 hertz or 20 dB and 120 dB. And let's see what it gives us. All right, I've got around 36 dB here, around 36 dB. So when I want to adjust my audio system for about 30 dB above that. So 36 dB plus 30 dB, so about 66 dB. That's about normal talking level for 1 meter for average human. I might even go a little bit louder because what I'm trying to do is equalize the sound system. I want to get the sound system to a specific curve depending on my task. If the task is speech, I don't need a lot of low end. I don't need a lot of sizzling high end. I need a good speech range, somewhere in between, 250 hertz, 400 hertz, up to 8 or 10K. I want that to be as nice and smooth as I can get it, specific curve. If I'm doing different content, if I'm running sound for a band or I'm setting up for a dance sound system, like for a DJ, I need that lower content. I want that 60 hertz rumble of an 808. I want that sizzle of a hi-hat. So I want to make sure that I equalize the sound system for the purpose it's going to be used. So this sound system I'm going to equalize for speech. I might roll off 400 hertz, 300, around 350, 400 down, and then 8K, 10K down around there. So, and another thing is I hear people a lot say, oh, well, did you EQ the room? No. You really can't. I mean, it's hard. You have to put pillows all over the place, acoustic absorbers, stuff that absorb the sound and don't let it deflect off. And you don't EQ the room, EQ the audio system. So I want to hear more of the audio system in the room. So I might kick it up a little bit more or get my microphone closer to it. I want to make sure that the loudspeakers have time to blend with each other. I have my tweeter up here and my low end down here. So I'm going to give it a little bit of space for it to blend. So I have my measurement microphone here. I have my real-time analyzer up here on the iPad. I'm using an app. Now, one thing about using the apps, if you use an app to do serious sound stuff, use the microphone that plugs in FireWire. This microphone actually sends a calibration file. It's not the microphone built into the iPad. I don't really want to use that because that's not really what it's designed for. Okay, so let's go over to our noise generator, and we're going to pump some pink noise through. I'm going to get my amplifier up to wherever it needs to be 25, 30. I might even go 35 for good measure. I want to hear the amplifier and loudspeaker, not the room. So let's kick this guy on and make sure I got a good measurement here. It's hot. So hot. Kick my... There we go. I got 0 dBu-ish. Now, let's get this guy up. Okay, so I'm pumping about 74 dB. It bounces back and forth about 70. It says 73.6. It goes up, it's around 74 dB RMS at my listening area. I want to make sure I have that 25 to 30 dB at least, maybe a little bit more, because I'm trying to drown out. I'm not drowning out. I'm trying to have more audio system than room. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this off to the side so you can see me. What I want to do is measure sound coming out, and more importantly, I want to see what the different frequencies are doing. What are the different frequencies doing? So let's put this pink noise through again. Now, as you can see from our RTA here, I've got a couple little stringers, a couple little spikes sticking up. Right there at 2K, at 2000 hertz, there is a spike of sound. Over here at 8K, I have another little spike. So I'm going to go to my EQ section. Make sure the EQ section of this one is flat. Oh, look at that guy. Look at that. Oh, that changed things. I'm just going to bypass this for now. All right. Now let's go to the master section. Now I can see on my real-time analyzer I have some things sticking out here. 2K. 1250 is a little low. It's a little dip there. 800. Then I get this stuff that I don't really want. And 8K. So I am going to start with this 8K. Go to my EQ section. You can see down here 20, 25, 32, 40. This is a 1/3 octave EQ. So every third of an octave I have a filter. And I go up boop, and go to the higher frequencies up here. So let's start with 8K. Now if I look, I have a range on my real-time analyzer. You can see 40, 60, 80. Those are decibels. You can see the overall decibel level is about 78, 79. I move my microphone really close. If I move it back, I'll be a little bit lower. So here, I've got 8K at about 57 dB. I want to kick that down more. I probably want to take that down 6 dB. So I go to my mixer at 8K, and let's take that down 6 dB. As you can see, that smoothed that out. Smooth out that little section there. Let's bypass that real quick. Kicks it up, smooths it down. So next thing I want to show, or the next thing I want to hear, is that 2K. That 2K is sticking right out. So let's go over to 2K here. And I want to bring that 2K down like 10 dB. So bring it down 10 dB-ish here on my mixer. Come on. I got a fat finger today. There we go. Oh, look at that. Nice and smooth, nice and even with the rest of those other frequencies. Next thing I'm going to hit on is 800 hertz here. 800 hertz. So bring down this 800. And at this point, I'm just going to eyeball it. See if I can get this next stringer up at 1K. Now you notice, not only does it take down that main frequency, but it takes down the frequencies around it. If I bring it up, bring it down, it moves the frequencies around it. Now, I have a little bit of a dip here at 1250. I normally don't like to kick up my EQ. I like to take away, but little dips give me some grief, so let's see what this does. Oh, a little smoother there. Next at 1.6. I'll move this up, show you there, 1.6. It's getting nice and smooth. 500 hertz. I go back to our lower end here. .500 hertz. Now it's starting to look a lot smoother. Go back up to 2K here. That's about all I want to touch 2K. Let me touch this guy just a little bit. What's down here? It's not going to do much. It'll take away a good bit. 250 there. Let's freeze that. Doop. Pause it there. Okay. So what I did is I looked for the frequencies that were sticking out, things that were out of my curve. I have this nice curve of an EQ for what I'm trying to do for my content, my speech. I have this nice curve, and I have this little one sticking right out. I want to put my RTA right on that. I can just slide it with my finger back and forth here and see what it's doing and pick out that frequency. And then I go to my graphic EQ, and I have corresponding frequencies. And the very first one, you saw it was sticking up. I thought it was sticking up 8 or 10 dB, so I pulled it down 8 or 10 dB, and boom, it just right in there. Math works great like that. Electronics are meant to work like that. So, I don't have a lot of the room. I want to take a, you can see here what's going on with the sound system. Let's see what the room's doing. The room's pretty flat. You can see I had something around 400 here. But that's, I mean, that's not too bad. I have something down here at like 125. I think it's my fluorescent lights. You know, it's a overtone of the 60 hertz going on there. I can't really do anything about that. But when I kick on my sound system again, it's got a decently smooth curve up until I'm getting up here at 63, 8K. If I really wanted to touch yet, I can. Again, I normally don't like to bring stuff up, and once I get into the room, those highs really start getting soaked up. I'm pretty close mic'd here. But I have a nice smooth curve going on, you know, from about 8K, dips down a little bit at 10K, drops down about 8 dB. Here, drops down 10 dB at 12.5K. And the rest of it, I'm not really going to be too concerned about unless I get high-end ringing or anything like that. And here you can see 315 drop down, you know, from 315, I'm at about 60 dB, drop down to 57 dB, about 6 dB per octave. And then down the rest of that, for speech, I'm not going to worry too much about it as long as it's not right in my curve. So, what I did is just try and smooth out those things. I smooth out all those frequencies, those little things that were sticking up here and there. Measuring my sound system and not the room. Getting the mic close so it gets a good bit of pressure to it. Let's check one more pressure reading, see what my pressure actually was. Remember, my ambient noise in the room was 36 dB, so I want to be at least at 66 dB. Let's see what this loudspeaker is doing. Unpause it. So I'm at about 75.8, about 76 dB, 40 dB above ambient. That's plenty for my loudspeaker to overcome anything in the room. All right, real quick, make sure your gain stage is set properly. Make sure your amplifier is set properly for the room, that you have enough signal to noise acoustically for your listening area. Get your microphone close, at least 30 dB above ambient. If you want to get a little bit closer, 40 dB above ambient's good measurement. And then you get those little things sticking up. You could just pull them down on your EQ stage. Real quick, I'm going to play this without the EQ and then play it with the EQ, and we can watch it on the RTA one more time. Let's kick the RTA on. Let's bypass the equalizer. We can see things sticking up here at 2K. Dips down here in our speech range, right? This is right in the clarity area of our speech range. So let's engage EQ again. Nice, smooth audio system. Nice, smooth curve. And that's going to be the difference of having a good sound system set up and a great sound system set up. Just those little tweaks and those little turns and filter adjustments, and you will be gold. And that is very, very basic EQing for your sound reinforcement system. Hope you're having a great day. I'm having a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.